Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Kylie, and I'm here with Pat. How are you, Pat?
Hey, Kylie. Good to see you. Doing very well.
Good to see you too. I'm very excited to have you here today. We're going to be talking a little bit about employee time and attendance with Factorial, some of the challenges we're seeing throughout different industries today, as well as some solutions. Because what's a challenge without a solution, right? And that's what we're all about here. Pat, can you tell us a little bit
Exactly.
about us, or share something about you, just to introduce you to our viewers today?
Yeah, perfect. So I'm Pat. I been at Factorial now for some time, and it's been a good time.
Great. Well, thanks so much for being here. And we're excited to see what you can show us and how we can solve some of these big challenges that we're seeing. So
Excellent.
just to run through what we're going to be doing today. So here's a little bit of a look at our agenda. So first, we're going to go over those challenges and solutions, and then look into our HR solution and show in real time, live, how they can be solved. And then finally, of course, any questions that our audience may have today, we'll go through those as well. So let's get into it. So Pat, just to ask you, what are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing with HR professionals, HR leaders throughout different industries that you communicate with? What are some of those big challenges you're seeing?
Yeah. So in my conversations with HR leaders and business owners, really top three things come to mind. It's inefficient reporting. So people need access to rich data that helps forecast costs. Think of the mind of a CFO or a business owner, and then out of date clock in and out methods, and lack of schedule visibility. So you have people clocking in and out with methods from the 80s, doing
Mhm.
punch cards, and at the end, that really ties into the inefficient reporting because you're stuck in Excel sheets, using software from the 90s. And then lack of schedule visibility. We've come across, people using group chats to post shift schedules, and a lot of trading goes around with trading those shifts. We've all been hourly employees at one point or another. So yeah, those are the top three things.
Well, awesome. Thanks for sharing. And what you said about those clock in and out methods. A lot of these companies that we communicate with are using these, and they're just so familiar with them, but they don't realize how much time and energy, money can be saved by optimizing and automating them. So let's get into it. So to start out, like Pat had mentioned, some of these big challenges that we're seeing, like inefficient reporting, those out of date clock in methods that we've all dealt with at some point in our careers, and then finally that lack of schedule visibility. Pat,
Mhm.
anything else you want to add here now that we see a little bit more information? Anything you want to mention
Yeah,
before we get to
yeah,
those solutions?
for sure. Usually, typically, it's depending on when you have your fiscal reportings, but end of the quarter, end of the month, end of the fiscal year, you have usually a mad scramble by the finance team, or by the business owners, the association, trying to get data to see like, hey, how much are we actually spending here? How much is going out on paying the employees? Do we have everything correct? And really that translates down onto the managers, end of the payroll period. Like, is everything perfect? Is everybody clocking in and out on time? Do we have the numbers right? Because you have to pay your people right. And then lack of schedule visibility is critical for employees. 75% of them say they want a more regular schedule with fewer shift changes. We have to understand that our employees are not robots. They're people. They have lives
Mhm.
outside of work. And so yeah, that's just a little I can touch on for each one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, and I mean, if I'm sure there are many people like me that have worked in restaurants, hospitality, and the worst thing when it comes to that schedule visibility, people need to change shifts, real life happens, and sometimes it flows into work, and not having those procedures and that visibility in place just makes everything so complicated. So in every one of these challenges, I'm sure we've all dealt with something here, so I'm excited to see what we can do with Factorial to solve them. So let's move on.
For schedule visibility, this is a shift management daily view. So it indicates, how many people are working for each hour. And this really helps industries like hospitality, retail, food services understand their shift coverage on a day-to-day basis. So managers are able to get that, high-level overview without referring to a binder or a group chat, stating when people can work and when they can not. So they're able to add, edit, and delete shifts or add rest days, see leaves, and bank holidays, and manage the conflicts and publish the shifts. And what's great is if there is a conflict or if there's an error, it won't let you publish that shift. And so you won't be making a critical error. And then as we go up the chain, that manager to the higher level manager, it just reduces a lot of headache.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And one thing that we'll see when we get into Factorial and look at these features here is that you can see on the drop down menu up there, the daily view. Here you also have the monthly view, the weekly view. You can filter. So it's really easy to get that visibility here. And then moving forward is our other solution with those out of date clock in methods. What are we seeing with advanced clock in methods that we solve here at Factorial, Pat?
Right. So there's a lot of systems for clocking in and out. Literally everybody and their mother has a system for clocking in and out, and a lot of them tend to be outdated punch card methods where you'll have to verify. Of course, there's a computer connected to it, but it's Windows XP, and you're typing in hours and you're making sure like everything is good before you send to payroll and finance to get those out. And that only goes so far. Nowadays it's the 21st century, and we made a little joke there about the technical difficulties, but everybody's creating, or everyone is carrying around basically a supercomputer, like 500 times more powerful than the one we use to get to the moon. Why don't we use this in our day-to-day operations at our small businesses around America? Industries like construction, restaurants, they need more advanced clock in and out options. I'm thinking healthcare. I work with a lot of healthcare people that are doing shifts are off-site. So think at homes or at different job locations, and we're able to utilize clocking in and out from the desktop, from the phone, with geolocation, with QR code and facial recognition technologies. So I mean, it's kind of impossible to clock in for your buddy if you don't have his face, right? So there's all this technology that's being used. Why not utilize it in our day-to-day businesses?
Yeah. Yeah. And not even just from the technological standpoint, but what are some other benefits of this? Like, well, the first thing I can think of is all the time that we're saving. Like we talked about that, the technology that we're using systems from the 80s. So other than saving time, Pat, is there anything else that people can benefit from this?
Yeah, so I mean, as far as being able to come in and do an audit, I mentioned that with the face recognition, let's say you do random audits to make sure everything is good. And in the approvals process, it's just as simple as, having a quick overview, like, okay, are these hours looking good? Are they regular? Do they match with the shifts? And the click of a button, you can approve. No decimal points needed, no hours and minutes.
Hmm.
And what's amazing is all of this, since we're all in one, it ties directly into our reporting feature. So you're not going to
Hmm.
have to download, create a CSV, do an XLS file, all of that stuff. If you know what I'm talking about, you understand. It's not fun.
Hmm.
So that is a huge benefit that a lot of our clients have seen.
Okay, so speaking of that reporting that you were mentioning, and how we can just take that clock in and out info and get that data that we need. So data analysis reporting, what do we see here, Pat?
Yeah, so data analysis reporting, we're able to gather, the information on where someone clocked in and out from, um, how often, they clock in and out at that period. Are they tardy? Is it a common occurrence? Is it we're really able to all of the data that comes in, think of it like an orange. We're able to squeeze all of that juice out of that orange. Everything we put in, we can build a report for. And this helps, lower level managers, this helps mid-level managers, and this helps especially business owners. And, if at bigger companies, CFOs gain financial and economic insights into, money that's going out as far as paying their hourly employees.
Definitely. Great. Yeah. And I love that. We'll take a look at this in our little tour of Factorial, but the history that we have here, where someone clocked in, where they clocked out, the time, all the data, the source, we have all of that. So now that Pat shared a little bit of insight with us, we're going to go into a quick tour of Factorial. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So Pat, you can take over from here. And
thank you, Kylie.
Yeah, thank you. And I just wanted to say to our attendees, I am curious to know how you clock in and maybe some of the challenges, if they weren't the ones on the list, some of the challenges that you're facing when it comes to time and attendance within your organization. So feel free to share any thoughts in the chat or any questions if you wanted to see anything specific. Once we go on to Factorial, about what we already mentioned, feel free to share any thoughts in the chat here.
Excellent. Yeah, please do share any questions, and Kylie will surface them to me, and I'll get to them. So here's the dashboard for Factorial, and let's just refresh this really fast. We're not like Adobe. We're not like Adobe. We actually work. Here's a common example of someone who forgot to clock out. What's great is look
every day.
What's great is Factorial will be like, hey, calm down. Is this correct? And this is one of the one less headache for the manager having to come in and change the shift. You can clock out if you actually have. That's a little crazy. You can work the estimated hours. You can work the estimated hours for the shift, and this will ping the manager. Hey, maybe double check, but we can confirm that, and it's been 8 hours. We are able to clock in from the desktop. That makes sense if you have somebody, maybe graphic designer, or someone that's not out and about moving, or needing to log into their system. They can clock in and out through here. But we can hop into the time policy, and I can show you right here. We can choose whether we want mobile clocking in and out, whether we want geolocation. Do we want to have an entrance app? Would we want to have the facial recognition? Or we can just have the standard clock in by employee ID number, swipe a card, but that's boring. Why would you want to do that? I do want to show the clock in and out through facial recognition, and you will all be able to see my lovely face here. It's looking for a match.
Oh no.
Okay, they couldn't recognize me. Too good for the cameras. But anyway, that is how it works. You'd have that set up on an iPad, and yeah, that's how that works. As far as coming in and coming to time tracking, we are able to go to the month of March. Let's say we want to do an audit on Amy, and to approve the timesheet, it's as simple as clicking and approving, but let's audit it first. Let's take a look at what Amy's been doing. Here we can see where she clocked out from, where she clocked in from. Let's take a look. Looks like, wow, she's working from Barcelona. Lucky her. So
we all wish we could be working from Barcelona, right?
We all do. We all do. Miami's kind of nice, but Barcelona is nicer. And then we can see the manager here edited the observation. The deliverable was tackled. They achieved a breakthrough, and things should be good to roll out. So we've audited that, and we can come back and we can approve that timesheet. It's as simple as that. And then you can approve en masse as well. But that is how the time and attendance feature works, how you create the policy, all the options you have to do those advanced clock in and out features.
Great. We actually have one question, and I thought we could answer that in the moment, just because we're here on Factorial already, and I think it's a great question. So let's see. Benjamin said, thanks for the insights. I was wondering how easy it is to use Factorial. Would employees need to be retrained to use software effectively? So Pat, I mean, you and I are using Factorial daily. What would you say to that? Do employees need to be trained or retrained in order to understand how Factorial works?
Great answer, Ben. I kind of see Factorial as it's very simple, and I look at it and I explain it. It works kind of like an iPhone. My mom knows how to use an iPhone. We got my grandma an iPhone. She learned it really fast. There are a lot of softwares out there, that could be a little challenging and tricky for some of our more well-seasoned coworkers and friends. But Factorial is very easy and it's just very intuitive. We have a mobile app as well, and everything you need is there. There's no training necessary at all. Think of it as turnkey for your employees. As far as being an administrator on Factorial, it's also relatively turnkey as well. As I showed you, the settings are quite easy to get to. You have those 3 dots. We can manage, we can download exports, and it's a very interactive and intuitive UI, UX. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Great, thanks, Pat. And I completely agree. I think I'm very far from good with technology. And I think the great thing is it's very easy, user-friendly. And if you ever have any questions, we have our help center where we answer every single thing in detail. If you have a question about our recruitment area or time off, time tracking, we have all the resources there to solve any doubts and answer any questions that any of our customers have. So Pat,
here's the help center, and it's as easy as just typing in your question and you can have it answered live.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. All right.
Yes.
Sorry, Pat. Thanks for that.
Excellent. Thanks for the question, Ben.
All
right.
right.
So hopping into our next portion of what we wanted to cover is the shift managements. So we did show you a screenshot of the daily view. And as I mentioned before, when we were not showing the platform, it looks here like we have 16 conflicts. So there are 16 shifts with conflicts. And what's great is we can, publish and schedule out. Employees do want that stability, so we can publish and schedule out as far as we want. Typically, people like to do it 3-4 weeks out. But let's pop back here into this week, Wednesday, May 31st. Looks like we have 16 conflicts. Let's solve these conflicts and let's publish the shift. And then after that, I'm going to show you the weekly view and the monthly view. So it looks like this surgery is in conflict with this vehicle assembly. I'm not sure what kind of surgeons these people are, but
this
probably
is the future. The future is here.
Right, they're going to be working on your AI vehicles. So let's delete that one. Let's delete that one, and let's try and get all these conflicts out. And I can show you how quick and easy it is to publish a schedule. We have 6 more conflicts. So boom, boom, boom.
So simple. And even if we just wanted to edit those, we can do that too with that little pencil.
We could, definitely.
So straightforward.
Definitely edit those. And as far as publishing the schedule right here, let's do this right here. Let's pop into the weekly view.
Okay, perfect.
We have conflicts with Memorial Day. There we go. Okay. All right. Boom.
The Memorial Day ones for Charlie and Kira. Yeah, perfect. There you go. No more conflicts?
No more, oh, here we go. Rest days.
Everyone needs a rest day sometimes, you know?
It's true.
No more shifts.
No more shifts.
We still have a conflict.
Where are these
See,
conflicts? Perfect.
but this is great to know because let's say we didn't have that feature where we couldn't see the conflicts and we publish that schedule and people are, you know, complaining or say they can't work that day because they took off. It's great to have that visibility where we can see if someone is overlapping with someone else or what have you. All right, so
Assign.
assemble that
Perfect. And then
vehicle.
we can publish this, and then we can send the notification to the employee with updates in their schedule. We'll publish
Amazing.
it, and then those are published. So it's that simple.
Great. So we saw
and so
the daily view and the weekly. Can we see the monthly?
For sure. We can see the 4 weeks view right here, and then we can see a monthly view. And see where everyone is at, and those are the shifts that we just scheduled. Having complete visibility. And then what's great with the filter is we can apply a new filter, and we can do that by employee status, by shift status, shift workplace, or by team. So team is equal to, and then let's just say we just want to see the HR, and we can take a look here at them.
Amazing. Great.
Perfect.
Great.
Now we can pop into what is really one of my favorite features about Factorial, and really probably going to be the favorite features of the HR manager, is the reporting. So we have all of this data. This is great. Everything I showed you is great for the managers managing directly, but that high level overview for the financial insights, for the economic insights, for a time and attendance insights to see everything is going to be living in reporting. So here we have, you know, certain dashboards. Let's pop that time and attendance dashboard up there. And let's pop in there. We can see things like headcount, total hours worked by employee. Oh, make this bigger.
Customizable. Great.
Customizable. We can see shift details for the current month, and we can add new widgets easily.
Amazing. Yeah, and this is great because think about this. Many companies are currently dealing with Excel or sheets where they have this data on a different sheet for each area. And here you just have it all in one platform. You can filter. It's user-friendly. It just makes things much simpler because I don't know about everyone else, but when I have multiple Excels, it is very overwhelming. So this is nice.
Yeah, so all of this data can live in Factorial, but let's just say we have an audit and you know, we do need to download this stuff. We can download this all into an XLSX file and send that over. So if you need to send it over to an investor, or if someone is looking to, you know, join the business, and you want to share certain features with them, or certain, you know, happenings and goings-ons, you can just download all of that into an Excel file, and take a look. And then as far as adding a new widgets, we can choose from a library of predefined widgets. And time and attendance is what we're covering here. So we have all of these time and attendance widgets. If you are a little more technical, what we can do is we can use a widget builder. And then this is a kind of a simplified report builder. We can choose which data we want to take a look from. And we can group it by other datas and have a horizontal and vertical axis. However, I do want to touch upon why my favorite feature is reporting. So we can actually ask it a question, and we use an AI model here, which I think is amazing. And let's just say we wanted to ask what is the average age of our employees, and build a custom report out for them for that.
Mm-hmm.
Our employees.
I forgot age, average age. We forgot.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What would I do without you?
This is great.
And here we go. It's kind of flashy. You can see that right here. So gone are the days of scrambling for, custom reports. And here we have it, average age. We are pretty young, 18 years old. And it just built that SQL report for us, SQL query. So
that's amazing.
We don't need to be, wizards of SQL. We can just have the AI GPT model do it for us. And we can run all sorts of different queries on there, and you could play to your heart's content with it, which I'll admit I've done. But are there any questions about any of these reporting features?
So let's take a look. Yeah, if anyone has any other questions, feel free to put it in the chat or in the Q&A. Pauline said a few minutes ago, you just answered my question. I always have to go back and fix the hours of my employees manually. Yeah, that's a big issue. Maybe someone forgot to clock in or clock out, and really like selecting the hour and the minute manually. I've been there, and it's time consuming. So I'm glad we answered that question for you. But Pat, thank you so much for sharing a little bit more of Factorial. Really that AI part, I think you really saved the best for last there. So good work. Great. Well, thank you all for joining us today. And Pat, thanks again for being here and taking the time out from helping HR professionals and leaders from your day-to-day. So, and everyone, this has been recorded, so we'll be sharing the recording with you in the next few days. So stay tuned if you want to review anything. And feel free to just reach out to us or connect on LinkedIn if you have any other questions or want to see anything else in detail. So thanks again, Pat, and everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.